Hello my good friends, it's Roger, the voice of Mud Fossil University once again, the never-ending 24-hour worldwide soiree on our history. Now, this happens to be a picture taken by Rodney Warren several years back, and now Harvard has apparently done the work to validate all these pictures that we've taken. So I'm going to go right into Harvard statements, and then we'll go into our light research that they have apparently completely validated. All right? Thank you. Okay, at Mud Fossil University it was claimed that light is a vortex particle, and it spins like this, exactly as they're showing, in a right-hand spin going forward. That's the angular momentum they talk about. They call it the orbital angular momentum, and that's all been described in my paper and Mud Fossil University's research. All of these different shapes have been observed, and I'm going to show them right now. Now, they do claim, and we also agree, and we really appreciate Harvard doing this research that backs us up. You know, they did it in the mud fossil DNA research as well, and backed up the fact that the mud eroding from the mud fossils contains DNA, just exactly as we've said. And we have the fossils that actually were the part that was the fossil prior to erosion, and only part of it erodes. So there's plenty of these fully formed mud fossils of ancient creatures, and we have them, and they've done the research to validate that as well. So we appreciate that. Thank you, Harvard. Now, here's what they say: and discoveries about light are still being made, obviously. It was only in 2015, they say, that scientists took the first ever photograph of light behaving as both a particle and a wave. Now, how they determined to state that, I'm not exactly certain, but we have determined and proven that light is a particle. It acts as a wave as it spins going forward. If you look at it from the side, that spin, just like pulling a slinky apart, you would see a wave. That is true. But this particle is only a particle. You see the strobe of the wave, and all of our pictures will show that as well. So let's go right into the pics. This is a red pulsed laser, a very inexpensive red pulsed laser, and this is the light in air. It was taken by Rodney Warren in Australia during some light experiments we were working together a few years back. That was the first wave, and now he accelerated it through a Venturi, and I'll show you that. This is, to me, proof that light can be accelerated. That is the wave that we saw before, the same type of wave. You can see the spinning little part, and all of a sudden it turns into this. Well, what happens is there's two metal drums here. Well, there's two, like, airplane surfaces here, and they create a Venturi, which constricts the space that this has to get through. And because it's a spinning particle, and it's spinning in, you know, like coming forward and spinning like this in a right hand spin. That's the nature of light, and I can prove that. And I'll show you other photos that Rodney took to prove this. Now, you notice it explodes here in white radiation. Extremely high frequency radiation starts to particulate here, it looks like to me, of some nature. As it comes out of here, it comes out in chaos and steps down to a quantum state, and then it begins to spin back into its natural light formation. I'll show you that. Alright, that's the light coming out of the accelerator, all in just absolute chaos, crushed, high energy, extremely high energy. Then it starts to drop into the lower frequencies and the colors as it hits the density of normal space. Right now it's coming through an extremely crushed state. It's really in a plasma, I guess you could call it. And as it comes out, I call it chaos. As it comes out of here, you see some of them go sideways and this and that. Those are the ones that give off the light trumpets, and then they eventually come to their straightness, and I'll show you some better shots of that. Okay, MFU, Mud Fossil University, claims this is the most important picture that's ever been taken in the history of energy, which is history. It just covers everything. It overthrows every little bit of everything. This is a particle through the accelerator, which I showed you light is accelerated. If you can't see that's accelerated, I cannot help you there. This is a particle that is a little in chaos, but you can still see the structure. You see the little stripy looking things? Those stripes, you see them? They come right into these stripes. And the reason that happens is because this particle crashed into this particle. This particle here is not in the accelerated high energy state. This particle is. This collision started its own normal state light disk, and as a consequence, this is what I call a light trumpet, is ejected from light itself. Alright, so let's start at the beginning of what I just said. Light is accelerated. Not supposed to happen. It's a particle, is what I'm saying, not supposed to be. It crashed into a light disk and ejected light from its own self. This is just all so far off the mark that they claim is the reality that, and I have all the stuff to show that it is reality. So that's what I want, is to have the reality tested. If it's wrong, I'm wrong. If it's right, it's right. But they shouldn't just be able to say, oh, it could be anything. And that is exactly what they said. Exactly. Oh, that could be anything. Click. So I think this should be tested. There's just too much here to be thrown to the wind. And the consequences are extremely enormous for everyone. Okay, this is the nature of light. These are the little tubes. Each one of these is a particle. Now we're catching it as a strobe, so it's all the same particle. This one's a particle, 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 particle. Okay. They come out accelerated, and you can see from the separation of the beginning portion of the tubes. You notice this light particle here it's in a pattern drifting to the left, and then it's compressing up here along with all the rest of them. Here's what happens. It comes out accelerated and high energy. This particular one was higher than all the rest of them, and then that's why I chose this picture. And it demonstrates the left-hand drift, which means it's turning to the right. And this is the right-hand rule. As you hold this, it means electricity is going in that direction. So that's how that works. And you can see it's coming out fast and it's compressing.